Good evening. You are listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Pineless Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida, in the Extreme Studios. I am talking with RDV about tonight's movie that we've never done here in the 6 years of the Extreme Movie Show, but it's one of our best of the top 10 of the 1980s, so much so that we even had it in our movie Thunderdome going up against, I believe it was Commando at the time, where two movies enter and one
Yep,
remains. And
pretty
that
much.
movie for me, RDV, would be First Blood here, aka Rambo, the first movie. Tremendous movie. I love it a lot. We've never really talked about it. We said we're going to get to one of these days after doing a recent Chuck Norris movie. It feels
Mhm.
good to be talking about something from the 80s, doesn't it?
It does. Especially said, I know we reviewed First Blood Part 2, but we never did this. Kind of want to go back over and just go through the Rambo movies again. We did the last one, Last Blood, with as a
Last one
group,
we did.
but
Yep.
but we never really went through 1, 2, and 3. So I think it was like actually the first 5, isn't there?
There's several.
I
Yeah.
thought because Rambo was the fourth one. That's the one, or it goes to John Rambo. I forget what it's called. It was like I think it was just called Rambo because that's when he takes the
50
people.
cal. Yeah.
Yeah.
2006 or 8 or whatever it was. Yeah. One of the most violent movies I've ever seen.
Yes, and where he takes the knife.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that's interesting that I think it's obvious about this movie. There's so much we can say about it. We will tonight. Here's people start piling in the chat. Anthony, hello. Good evening, sir. Good to see you again. One of the things that struck me talking about Chuck Norris being, 170, 180 pounds, whatever his weight is, looking like an average guy, fit dude, but he's a legit ass kicker. He was one of the first guys, coming from, Vietnam and the war to kind of get into martial arts. And of course, with Bruce Lee in the early to mid 70s, we had this craze, right?
Yep.
And of course, this kind of peaked to me with the ninja stuff with Cannon in the 80s and whatnot. But let's not forget, Chuck Norris is one of the first ones to really talk about wanting to have a story about people coming back from the war and adapting to civilian life. But I think the one that really hits home for all of us, just because of the type of movie it is this movie Rambo, because that's really what it is. This movie's gone through a lot of iterations, a lot of rewriting, a lot of reshooting. Stallone had a heavy hand in it too. And he wanted to try to just present him as somebody that, did something good for his country, and nobody gives a shit about it when he's there. And I got to tell you, the performances in here are second to none. And I'm not even talking about the acting firepower in here. I'm just talking about the way they're written. Brian Dennehy is the sheriff that just doesn't want him in his town, and you could call him evil. I don't think he was an evil guy, but just he didn't do the right thing, but he did what he thought was the right thing. And then, of course, Troutman, when he comes in giving a big old speech, I mean, this movie's phenomenal.
William Teasel is Dennehy's character there, and honestly, he wasn't evil, but he was corrupt. And then he tried to save face because his pride was wounded. Because this guy basically he came from a water town where basically it was a small town. They didn't want drifters. There's a word it was going to happen. That was and honestly, that is believable back then because
it still is believable. But you're absolutely right.
The way they don't like outsiders, or like the way people are so used to basically the sheriff doesn't want to do anything. He's just sit on his ass and do nothing. Once he gets paid to do nothing, and he's basically it sounds like the worst kind of type of sheriff you'd want to have. He's the one that gets shot by the bad guys, and then the real hero comes out and saves the town back in the westerns. But
I'll say this: as I've gotten older with Dennehy's character, the more I marvel at how great he is at it, because I think he captures the right balance of, look, this is a small town. We don't want this type in here. And I'm not saying it's evil.
No,
but he's made a choice and he's going to live up to it. Again, right or wrong, he's committed, right? And a small town, if you've been to a small town and you're an outsider, like a tourist or something like that, people are going to treat you differently. I don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And he could have gone so many ways to it. Well, ignorance, or it could be ignorance, but he seems too smart for it to be ignorant because he knows what he's doing.
Well, that's what ignorance is. Basically, you choose to do something even though it's the wrong thing.
Well, that's malfeasance. Ignorance is not knowing any better. Again, watching it when you're older, when you're younger, you see things differently, right?
Yes. The main we love Rambo. We love Stallone. He's the main star, but not really. The main star in this movie is when we look at it, we have Richard Crenna, who just comes in and steals the spotlight. And then his interaction with Brian Dennehy, while Stallone does his thing, is over here. Like Stallone's in another part of the movie when these two are on the screen together. And I love that as because when I first watched this when I was younger, a teenager, didn't really get that idea. But then as I started getting an adult watching this over and over again, you start to notice that that the sheriff and then the colonel, it's like they're like basically like the God and the devil, kind of talking,
yeah, that's a way of talking about
what's right and what's wrong.
Yep.
It's like as Richard kind of says, he's like, dude, Troutman's like, so basically what you're telling me is that you're gonna go in there, and you're gonna murder this guy, and then I'm supposed to take this decorated war hero and stuff, serve this country, and put on his gravestone, killed for vagrancy. Yeah, look, and I kind of love like Richard McKenna, or Richard Kenna his character is just awesome in this. I love he is reminding everybody, hey, you fucked up. This is the correct thing to do. He's kind of telling like he's like an angel telling Dennehy, he's like, dude, you messed up. This is God coming in, giving you a sign, say, you know what, is a chance to make things right.
Yeah, and when they're having that conversation, the thing that jumps out that adds to your point is that, I mean, you could laugh and mark out at the first thing where he's like, oh, God, one of you. And he's like, no, God didn't make Rambo. I did.
I made Rambo.
But he's not like smiling. He's basically saying, you know what? Here's what you do. Pull all your men back. Let them slip through. We'll pick them up in a week or two. And he tells them exactly how it's going to work. And with no ego involved, because to your point, it's right. Yeah. And they even meet later in the bar to kind of talk about it, because they're basically on flip sides of the same coin. One made him, and now he's got to go rescue.
This is also,
he's getting in trouble.
Here's also the thing, because basically going for the very part of the story is that John Rambo he's walking. He went to go visit his friend, who was another soldier. He basically survived the Vietnam War. Excuse me. And learns that he died of cancer, Agent Orange. My uncle died of Agent Orange. That shit's real. That stuff they gave my guy throat cancer because of it. Well, he also smoked too, but I mean, it takes off a number of your life, years of your life. But anyway, so he's already depressed. We already know he's kind of like got some disorder. Especially, it's really emphasized after the sheriff picks him up, puts him into the squad car and stuff in there. Mm-hmm. They mistreat him. They abuse him.
They treat him like a dog with the hose and everything.
Yes. I want to point out though, we have two other stars in here. We have Michael Talbott is in here. He's the deputy in here. You'll see him. He's the one that's kind of when you see him in the shop, you'll see him right there. But he's kind of like a side character in this. But the other one, the one that's really stands out, is David Caruso.
Yes, this is one of his first roles. Yep.
Yes.
He's the wimp.
He's the young one. He says, like, this is wrong. It's like he's like, you attacked him first. He didn't do anything wrong. He's like, and he's kind of like, yeah, with a bunch of older men, who basically they all basically wanted their manhood. They feel basically insulted the fact that this guy didn't do what they wanted to do, that their power trip didn't work, and so I love it. He's kind of like the voice of reason. So as they go, as they spray off Rambo and stuff, and then they're gonna give him a shave, because the one guy in here is like, what was it? Was it Kellerman? Which one was that? I can't remember the one in the helicopter. Might have been Jack. I don't know. It was one of the security guards who was basically giving him a hard time. He's the bald guy. He gives, beats him in the back, and then stuff. He can't let the fact that this guy basically beat them all up and fled and stole a dirt bike, and then went off into basically like the woods. And the
this is such a great action sequence too. The way he does it, it comes out of nowhere. You see it building, and the little fight in the area there, and busting the guy's nose and just doing it, and him snapping, literally just running. That's what you do if you're an animal and you get attacked. You strike out and then you run. And that's unless you're cornered.
Yeah, he triggered flashbacks. That's why he was being tortured when he has a knife coming to his throat. That's why he lashed out. And Rambo, Rambo flees into the mountains, and our cop tries to chase him, the Dennehy. But he ends up basically, pushing his vehicle, which cannot go over mountain cliffs like a dirt bike can, and it rolls over and flips.
Yeah.
And I love this because John kind of pauses, and it's just kind of crazy. For a brief moment, he pauses, looks to see if the sheriff's all right, you know, showing that he actually is a moral character. He's still got some what's right and wrong, you know. He doesn't try to kill anybody in this too. He even points out the Dennehy later. It's like after he basically sets traps in the woods with bamboo stuff. We can see so Michael Talbott is the one who gets the bamboo spears through his legs. But like, and he holds the knife up to Denny. He's like, dude, if I wanted to kill you, I would have killed you. Yeah. Just let it go. Let me go. Yeah. I love this. I know it's a sight.
Well, you know what movie this guy did cinematography on? He did it on The Warriors as well. So there's a certain kind of look to it. It's where it's shot. I think probably around Seattle or wherever. It's just they caught it at the right time of year because you can see his breath in the wind being cold, and when he's in the mine shaft, you get the feel. You feel like, you know, it's just kind of man against nature sort of thing too. And, and I'll say this about stunts and everything. You know, they get the copter going in, and Rambo, of course, is, you know, ends up like falling through the trees. But when he throws the rocket through the windshield, and the guy doesn't, that's a great action sequence. We don't need
it's a scene where he's
zoom cuts and all this other bullshit that makes up for what real action and tension is.
They're chasing him onto the cliff thing, and he climbs down. He starts coming down the rock wall, and he's he slips a couple times. And then we guess here comes the idiot cop, the one I was beating up with the billy club. He's in the helicopter, and he's like, hold it still. And the guy in the helicopter, he's like, dude, I can't, you know, like Mitch. He's like, I can't do it, man. It's like, you know, we're in a thermal off draft, you know, we'll crash. So the guy keeps shooting, and then of course, because Rambo decides to jump, lands through some trees, hurts his arm, pretty much cuts it, slashes it. Has to like, and then as he's pinned behind the tree, they got the cops down there with a rifle or in the helicopter, and he ends up throwing a rock. Yeah, he said causes the guy to get tossed out. He lands. He basically hits his head on a rock and dies. Also, real quickly, Shadow, what's up, Mike? Comic Book Corner 2.0. What's up, buddy? Hey, you guys ever checked out his channel? You check him out. He does a lot of cool comic book stuff. But yeah. But dude, it is just a fun movie. Instead, they keep chasing Rambo further up. You know, we get into the scene where he's going through. He has like the dogs chasing after him too, and then so he sets up the trap. And of course, we get to the whole Dennehy thing with the knife scene. Let's let it go. He's humiliated. Rambo just goes further into the woods, and they call in the National Guard. Now the news media crew is there too, and then this is where we get Richard McKenna's basically his Richard, I keep saying McKenna, Crenna.
Yes.
Where he shows up and he talks to Dennehy, and you know, he's like, yeah, if I want to bring Rambo in, it's be me, because he's the closest I have to anything family out here. Everyone he knows is dead. You know, this guy's a Green Beret. You know, and then of course the cops are all pissed off too. But the cops are like, really, dude, you had us going up against Green Beret? You know, especially when they found that dog tags out earlier in the movie. So Rambo ends up, well, as Crenna says about Rambo, he's like, well, he's doing what he knows he's trying to do, survive off the land, whether rain or weather. You know, he digs in, and you see him up in the tree. He's fashioned a spear and kills a boar. Then he's carrying it to the mine, like a little mine shaft he has.
I gotta say this, as a kid, you know, I don't know if there was a movie that did it for you or when you saw this movie.
Yeah.
You're the 90s guy and I'm the 80s guy, right? But sitting there watching him live off the land, like killing the boar, finding some twine, getting the tarp for for some cover, making the fire, having that badass knife with the matches in there, it's a sort of survival knife, and getting in the whole mine shaft, so badass as a kid, man. I don't know if a movie did that for you, but we're like, oh wow, people learn how to do that.
They sell these K-bar knives. They actually, and they have a compass on there, which he uses.
Yes.
They also have couple matches you can put in there too. So whatever you need. Yeah, and he uses that. So eventually, they after he talks, he's in the cave. He's like, he stole one of the radios, you know, and Crenna talks to him and basically wants to bring him in, dude. Oh my gosh, it's like they're gonna try and link his spot, and he talks to Crenna and says like, you know, hey, it wouldn't be I didn't do nothing, you know, if it wasn't for Captain Jackass, pretty much.
They drew first blood.
Yeah, they drew first blood. I didn't draw first blood. They drew first blood. He says the title name like 3 times. So you know what movie it is. It's not Rambo, it's First Blood. Even though they call it Rambo First Blood now. I I know it's on all the DVDs because they have to say it's Rambo because that gets people's eyes.
Yeah.
Understand.
Check out Comic Book Corner's question in the chat here, because this is its own stream in itself. You and I have not even covered nearly all of the Stallone movies that are out there. What is your guys' favorite Stallone movie? Can you honestly answer that right now?
Offhand, I mean, I have recency bias with this movie. I do like this movie.
This one's up there.
It's such a great movie. Scenery, everything. There's no green scene. Everything, explosions, pyrotechnics.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I guess if I would
under your head. What Stallone movie do you?
The one that pops in my head is Demolition Man.
Yeah, for me, it's the first Rocky. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. It still really is. Yeah, I love this movie. It's great. I think this is the movie for me. Here's what makes this movie great too, with Stallone in general. Everyone can sit there and say, okay, maybe everything conveyed in the right spot at the right time, and everything happened at the right moment, and he got lucky with Rocky, and Rocky 2 was a nice sequel. Yeah, this is the movie that showed Stallone can get involved, do a bunch of other stuff, and not just be that one-hit lucky wonder. Sure. I mean, and everything after this was gold.
Well, his career didn't peak until he did that movie with his mom. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Stop it. But he wanted to do comedy, right? And you know what? Yeah. Let's be honest.
Stallone, he tried it failed.
Stallone's career, I would rather have than Schwarzenegger's, and that I know we were talking about this the other week, right? Because the three main guys at this time was Stallone, it was Chuck Norris, and it was Schwarzenegger. And you could argue that Schwarzenegger is like your god, your comic book stuff. Stallone, I don't know, maybe he's a mutant, and then the everyday guy would be Chuck Norris, right? But if I had to take two catalogs, I mean, I almost could leave Schwarzenegger's off of it, even though I love the films and they're great and they're a lot of fun. I just think that like Stallone's catalog is phenomenal. I mean, in this movie, stands up with any of them.
Well, I mean, people were making fun of him because he did Cobra, and that was supposed to be like the.
Dude, I love Cobra.
I know Cobra, but you're like, Dirty Harry's better. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Do you want to watch Cobra, or do you want to watch Breaker?
Man,
or do you want to watch Jingle All the Way?
I don't hate Breaker, man.
I know what I'm saying.
Get some hate to it. Now, Jingle All the Way is a movie I've been like, no, I'm good.
Do you want to watch The Octagon? Do you want to watch?
I want to watch.
My Mom Will Shoot, or do you want to watch Jingle All the Way? It's not Jingle All the Way.
I know there are people who like watching a lot of family movies and stuff, and stuff. But I'm with you, and like I love 80s stuff. I'm the guy that likes Rocky 4 more than Rocky 1.
A lot of people like Rocky 4 more than Rocky 1.
I know it's a very controversial movie.
The best thing about Jingle All the Way was Robert Conrad, aka Jim West from the Wild Wild West, is the cop in that one, because everything else in that movie sucks. Okay, and I still kind of like Kindergarten Cop, but I mean, come on, you gonna watch Kindergarten Cop, or you gonna watch this? You gonna watch The Specialist, or you gonna watch Kindergarten Cop?
I'm gonna watch both, man. It's like, put the cookie down.
Rocky 3 or Rocky 4?
Oh man, I still like Rocky 4 has a better soundtrack. Added
I gotta go Rocky 3 though.
But Rocky 3 is Thunder Lips, right?
Yes, the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Rest in peace, Thunder Lips.
Why are they carrying them?
And I love the fact that Stallone in that movie, he told them, "Hey, do this. I'll make it real." So and like and people are like, because like Stallone, no one knew what was going to happen. Only Stallone knew. And Stallone's like, "Dude, I love this. Let's go."
Look, I don't know how important it was for people that served in the war and came back. Like, if they felt movies were accurate representing the PTSD they would.
Here's the thing: I guarantee
this movie is one of the first ones that really does it in a serious way, and a lot of people that saw it, I think, did not want to appreciate that or accept it, because it's the happy '80s. We're finally getting off the inflation of the '70s. Now we got Reaganism. Now we got popularity in America. That's really great. We don't want to talk about problems that were 10 years old.
This is 1982 when this comes out. So it said it's before Missing in Action with Braddock Missing in Action. Chuck Norris, which also addressed the same thing as far as people being left behind, prisoner of wars. We even get Rocky 3 even does that too. It's like, we got to go back, save our guys. Or not Rocky 3, sorry. Still Rambo 3. And I think Rambo 2 is also that too. With
a lot of the Norse ones and a lot of these
priests, yeah. It was a popular theme, man. But Tango and Cash?
No, it's not Tango and Cash. It's
no.
Tango.
I love. Okay, here's the thing. Here's my only beef with Tango and Cash. I hate it when Stallone tries to dress all prissy, and with the glasses and the suit, and I hate that crap. It only works when he does that is when he's in Tulsa King, because he's still kind of a thug. He's not this uppity guy. I can't do that. Where he's like I don't like that. He's not Felix Unger. I hate that shit, because you can't go from this to like in suit and a tie and the glasses. He doesn't have the Clark Kent image. I'm sorry. It's just weird. But
really, this is striking. I'm usually the fashionista on the show, but this is touching a nerve with you, sir.
I just don't like it. It's like we watched him do the same thing when he was in Stop Where My Mom Shoot. It's the same type of freaking character, where he was the uppity, thing, and he had a certain way, and his mom comes in and starts cleaning things, and that's all he cares about is because he's, oh, what do you do with my clothes? And I need my this, mom. It's like it's dumb. But getting back to Rambo though, First Blood. So they pretty much chase him into they figure out where his position is there, and the military is looking for him. They said they send in the National Guard. They're basically the rent a guards. These are part-time warriors, armed with M16s to go in there, and as they walk by, they're like, okay, he's laying in the beach, and he's under his some wood and some stuff. He gets up, surfs on the water, and goes around, and and then later on, they pin him down by the cave, or not the cave, but the mine shaft. The mine shaft, great place to be. He fires bullets in there. He runs out of ammo with his own gun, M16 he picked up, and the guys were told to wait by the sheriff. He's like, I want him alive. We can wait if I get there. He's coming by helicopter, and the one guy's in there. He's like, oh, we're gonna take him out because he's pissed. Another guy. It's another peon that's pissed off that he's not getting his way. He's all butthurt. And guess what he is? He's the guy who works at the pharmacy. He's your pharmacist. He's your little pansy. And
those small towns.
And he gets another guy.
They work in their own ways, man. They take it out on good guys and bad guys. They get groups together. This is how it works, man.
Well, that's how it was back in the Western. We'll all rally together. We'll get, and then shit.
It's a tribal mentality, and it still exists. Yeah. Captain or Lieutenant Coward, whatever, jackass, decides he's not even man enough to even fire the the bazooka. He gets the other guy to do it. So when the sheriff gets there, the mine shaft is pretty much, the entrance is blown up. Stallone had basically run inside and survived, but now he's trapped in there. They're in there taking photos, yeah, look at it's like they just caught a giant fish. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yep. And it's like, well, we're going home. He's like, not you, Mr. Pharmacy Boy. You're digging him. I want his body out of there. And so no body, no death.
He's like, oh, double farts, sharts, Spalding, whatever his name is. Kotcheff. And honestly, so after this, it's like this is where we get we see Crenna in a bar with and then Dennehy, or was it? Dennehy. Dennehy, yeah. Dennehy. We had a conversation, and we get this look because we know Crenna had already looked at the site. He had shown up in there. He saw smoke coming out of there because guess who basically lit a fire and a torch. He tore off his tarp here, and he took his knife, wrapped it around there, and then he lit it. With the tarp, with this little match he had left, and he searched around for an entrance. Because most mines do have other entrances.
He followed the airflow. He followed like an old can of pitch that was still valid work. And I thought it was great. Watching as a kid, I'm hypnotized by it. I don't know why. It just works. It's
like, let's go explore a mine shaft. Yeah, don't do that. It's dangerous.
Have you been in a mine shaft?
Oh, dude, I don't need to go in there.
It's terrifying.
I've seen people go in there and on camera, they do their things on channels.
Yeah.
They go rock climbing or just say a hole open on the ground. Let's crawl in there. And then they're rappelling. They're going these pits. And they're rappelling down 100 feet. I'm like, you're nuts. And then sometimes you're going in and there's rain coming down too. It's like, I don't want to be in there. There's a flash flood.
No.
And or just whatever. Anyway, so he crawls in there, and I look one of my favorite scenes in the movie. He's going in the water, swim there. Hey, Mr. Rat! It's all the rats on him. He's biting them, and he's picking, throwing, chucking the rats. And clearly those were fake. I can't tell if those were real rats or fake
I think
rats
they were
around them.
real.
They might have been real. I'd have the same reaction if I had a freaking rat on me. And so he gets and he basically goes through and he finds the entrance, the exit, and he climbs up the ladder and stuff, and it's gets out. Those two are having their conversation. Crenna, I said Crenna already knows that Rambo. He suspects that Rambo's alive because he knows he's a son of a bitch. You can't kill him.
Yeah, he thinks it's possible. Certainly,
he's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And after this, basically, Dennehy or
Dennehy.
Dennehy. Sorry, it's just a weird name, Dennehy.
It's Irish.
I know. I want to call him Will Teasel. That's his character name. It's really weird too. Anyway, he goes up back to his office, and then Stallone's character, basically John Rambo, basically sees these two military trucks coming down a convoy, and decides, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run and jump and land on the top of the last one, and then I'm gonna basically get in there, hold the guy knife point, and I love how he's kind of like Cash Call. He's like, hey, don't focus on me, focus on the road. That's how people get in the accidents. It's like,
yeah, he didn't want to kill him.
He didn't want to kill him. And then he's like,
people don't want to overreact.
He's like, what's in the back? He's like, a bunch of M16s and stuff. And he's like, 50 cal and stuff. He's like, all right, I need you jump. He's like, what? Kicks him out. The guy gets pulled over. He's walking back. Cop asks what's going on. The word gets out that he basically is alive. And pretty much Rambo decides, well, I'm going to go to town. I'm going to drive the truck after knocking off a pursuing cop car into another parked car because he's head on collision, explodes. I'm like, hope there's only in that car, but anyway. But he goes back and he basically he stops and sort of like a mobile or Citgo, whatever gas station, opens up the back the truck, takes all his ammunition out there. So a couple different ammo cans, takes a giant 50 cal, and then he basically takes some gasoline, pours it out, and then he lights the gasoline on fire and lets the truck and the gas station explode. So everybody's going in there. He makes his way over to basically the what you call it, the gun shop, or basically the Bass Pro Shop, whatever we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how he just basically gets there, takes all the ammo, throws it on the ground, the metal pile makes a pile, and takes some more gunpowder, then shoots that with the 50 cal. Well, meanwhile, while Dennehy is on top of the roof of the sheriff department, and because he's scared out of his mind because Crenna says like he's gonna come and kill you.
Yeah.
You had your chance. So he's really like, oh shit, I fucked up. He's gonna kill me. And I love how Rambo just basically takes out the power, around the city, causes the blackout. Goes in, 50 cal, shoots all the lights in the cop shop. Goes in there, and while he's walking in there, he sees that the attic access is out, and he's like, well, fuck that. There's a skylight there too. And he looks and he quick runs after then he tries to shoot him, and then basically he ends up shooting Dennehy through shoots his legs, pretty much shoots him up and all because he hears him on the roof, shoots the ceiling, causes him to fall through the skylight. He lands on the table. He's like, son of a bitch, kill me. He's like, and Rambo's gonna kill him, but then Crenna shows up. He's like, no, don't do this, But then we get the scene where he kind of like, he's like, dude, there's like 200 cops out there. He's like, you don't want to die. You're gonna die. So he's like, and he breaks down and talks about how he's like, man, I can't get any jobs.
Yeah.
He said everyone hates me. They call me a baby killer as soon as I got off the plane.
Yep.
I can't. And he says like, all my buddies. I watched my buddy. This little kid brings up this little box to him. He's like, it's like a shoe sign and stuff. He's like, so, but he says, sure, like a shoe sign. It's wired explosive. I'm trying to pick my bodies, put his insides back in it, but they kept coming out. So, Colonel, and like, I can't find his legs, and all these guys talking, all the things we're gonna do once he got out of the war. It's like I'm the only one left alive. The other guy died of cancer. The war got him, even as he got home. Mm-hmm. It's like, and he says like they gave up on us. They don't let it. We were winning a war, and they decided to let the war, basically be lost.
Yeah, they didn't want to win.
They don't want to win.
Yeah,
and so he's like, I'm used to. I can give me a helicopter, give me a tank. I'm used to being. I can control $1 million, vehicles and stuff. I can't do anything here. The war never. The war never left. it's in my head every single freaking day, you know. And I love how he says it, and he's crying, man. And
it's a great little ranting
it's
speech he has, though. Honestly,
it's like if for a minute I forgot that if you watch Rocky before this, I don't. It's kind of hard to watch this because it's like, yo, Adrian, you know, it's like it gets. But Stallone's so great though. You kind of in that moment you forget, and you start to tear up a little bit because this is true stories about people who basically were spit upon. This is real. It still happens today. All our veterans come back. They're called killers and stuff, you know, It's
well, I think it used to be more of a badge of honor to kind of go into the military. You certainly had like physical standards.
Families going there,
sons
sons,
have been dumbed
fathers.
down over the generations.
Yeah.
And I know in the 80s, some people like came from a military background, still thought it would be cool to go in. But at that point, it was getting turned into where, well, if you can't go to college or whatever, because college was actually very cheap to go to back then. You know, you could always do something there. And I still, you know, have some people in my family in the military. So we talk about how things are and how they were. And the one thing I thought that was very interesting when he's giving this speech is we talked about movies going from the 60s with a lot of unrest in the 70s being kind of dark in general, kind of mirroring the emotional unrest of the 70s, and how awful it was. And I think that this whole PTSD coming in the 80s, it's a great little thing to bring up because it's appropriate for the time. And Dennehy, again, no matter what you say about his character or Crenna, you know, we're not necessarily coming to a specific answer about, well, government sucks, it's evil, it's bad, it's just that. It's no, this is the shit that happens. And the way he explains it, I bring it. It's with me every day. And
here's the thing,
I'll say this: his speech stuck with me enough that only a year or two later, and I bring this down to something you may know of or may not. I want to share it with the audience because it's more popular in the 90s. There was a professional wrestler out of Minnesota. That was that territory was known for a lot of people. But his name was Jesse Ventura, and he used to be called Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes,
and then Jesse the Mind Ventura because he ended up running for governor of Minnesota.
And then he lost his mind.
He's libertarian, but he's libertarian, but he's basically got a lot of liberal tendencies, and as far as how you define that. But he would go on so many rants, just like Stallone's character did here, about the real life how. Hey, I'm 20 years old. I'm working for the SEALs. I get exposed to Agent Orange. I learned this training on this side. Over there, I'm a man. I'm over here. I can't even buy a beer or vote. Yeah. You know, and he still will rant about that to this day. And so it's one of those things where Stallone did such a great job about it. It brought it into the public consciousness in movies, because what are you supposed to do when you go to movies? You're supposed to go have fun. At least that's what everybody thought in the 80s.
And this also puts a spin on it, makes you think. So
exactly. And that's all he was trying to do.
And that's why they categorize this as a psychological drama. Because
it's not an action movie to me. I don't think it is an action movie.
There's scenes of action in here.
Yes.
But it's the overall point is basically that they say, like, you know, this guy's
maybe
messed
thriller,
up.
Maybe. I don't know. Drama.
The book, this is based on a book series written by David Morrell, who basically wrote First Blood in 1972, and then 10 years later they adapted it, and then he did the other movies with Stallone. But yeah, it's like it's real, and as far as the way they're treated, and I said still treated today. How can you serve? It's like how, especially a very political. There's a lot of weirdos when it comes to politics. There's people who are, like I said, like there's people, if you don't agree to their politics, you're the bad guy. It's like no one can agree to disagree, and like I said, everything's either like you are with me or you're against me, and it's just like that mentality it's such a plague on our country. But I want to point out something. First, they called it shell shock. Do you remember that?
No, never heard of that.
World War II, they had soldiers come back.
You mean culturally? Yes.
Culturally, they called it shell shock. Then they called it. Then they changed it to PTSD. And the thing is that it's just like ADHD. So many people are overdiagnosed with PTSD that don't have.
Well, you know what happened with that is in the 70s, there was this big push in a lot of the psychological circles to redefine mentally, physically what certain things are, whether it was homosexualness, whether it's certain kinds of trauma, and either add it or delete it or make different grades of it. That was a big push.
Well, the other thing is, I said, this is the reason why a lot of these people were basically avoided by like towns that didn't want nothing to do with them, because
We also had
Well,
sanitariums too.
because they don't know if you're a crazy person or not, if you're gonna
Exactly.
snap and do, because the PTSD, their term they're pushing around and stuff.
Now, I wanted to ask you, Comic Book Corner 2 might know, but I was curious if there's ever been, either because of the popularity of this or just back there they translated it because it's been so popular, if there's been any like
Yeah.
Rambo comics or graphic novels.
So as comics, I'm not sure. There might have been at one time. If there was one, it's probably during the Now comics, which is the early '90s. But there was a cartoon in the '80s.
Well, people don't really read anymore, like books, but what would happen is in the 70s and 80s, and still going into the 90s, and maybe even a little bit now, when a movie would come out, they would almost do a print of it. So you
They
could
would
go
adaptation.
Back to the Future, yeah.
Dragon Slayer got it. Yeah, Dragon Slayer got
and so
adaptation.
I don't know if Rambo, because Rambo was based on something, I just figured people probably read the book. But
So
maybe they might have done a graphic.
It was a novel first by this guy, said by David Morrell, and then it became a movie, and then I'm pretty sure there might have been a comic book adaptation or something. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But as far as the cartoon series, there was a Rambo cartoon series, especially after the popularity of the second one, and just took off. You also had Chuck Norris's Karate Commandos.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had Rambo action figures. You had Commando action figures. All the G.I. Joe stuff was really heavy in the 80s. They really pushed pro-America. Despite the fact that Rambo was pretty much like exposing all the flaws with America, how people were left behind, soldiers that were mistreated and stuff. Which is so weird to have them to see him like an action figure.
In the 80s, people didn't want to hear that kind of stuff. That's why they loved all the saccharine movies and the happy endings and all that, because not only did they finally have a little bit of spending money and everything else there too, and actually had a bit of a middle class going on. Sure, they didn't want to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah, so of course, everybody wanted
movies like They Live by John Carpenter. He was like, it's about anti-Reaganomics. It's about how bad we are as a nation. All these kind of rantings you see in movies and everything too. And people go, no, that's not how I see it, John.
It was the thing. It's like, it wasn't really a censorship. It was more the fact that there's a lot of people who just didn't care for those type of films.
Right? They were tired of it. They had a decade of it. They wanted to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, I said, of course, I said everybody wanted to have including the kid in American Virgin, but he didn't get that. But
because he was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy. Nice guys don't finish unless it's by himself. But,
man, because that and Fast Times at Ridgemont High are roughly around the same time as this movie.
Yeah,
were phenomenal watching, and I got to tell you, in 1982, this is on one of my top 10s of the year. I know we've covered that here on Extreme Movie Show. If you go back and listen to what we've done years ago, we may go back and revisit it. I will tell you that if I were to narrow down a small list of movies for anybody to say, well, what's a good movie from the 80s just to watch and get a feel for stuff that's going on? On a serious note, this movie would definitely be on that list for me.
So you had Rocky 3 come out the same year as us, too.
Telling you, bro.
Matt, look what movies were out this year in the top 10. And at 10, we had Annie. Number 9, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Very popular.
8 was Poltergeist.
Very popular.
7 was 48 Hours. We just reviewed that.
Walter Hill film.
Star Trek Wrath of Khan.
Exceptional film.
And number 5 is Porky's.
Porky's was very popular as a Florida film.
I know, but it's one of those films where you just want to have fun. You don't want to seriousness. It was basically the school fantasy. It's like being able to get away with pranks and not have to worry about it.
It's chase and tail.
Yeah,
it's innocent in a way.
Yes,
right.
Rocky 3 at 4, and then Richard Gere at number 3, and An Officer and a Gentleman.
Great movie, actually, worth watching.
Yeah. Tootsie was at number 2.
Did not like Tootsie, but that's
and the number 1 movie, which I still hate with a passion today, is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
I'm not a fan of E.T. either.
Oh, it's just overrated.
Yeah.
E.T. phone home. How about you use your own phone? I'm not your long distance bitch.
Yeah, you go fuck yourself, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Take this movie over E.T. any day.
But I mean, I'm looking through. That was the top 10s, but there's personal bests.
That's a great one. The Thing came out in 1982, I believe. Considered a bomb.
Swamp Thing, Death Wish 2.
Death Wish 2. Bronson, we've covered that.
We had Death Trap with Christopher Reeve.
Very fun movie.
Released.
Was in that too.
Oh, they released the Robin Hood movie. What else we got? Cat People.
Cat People. That's a remake. Yeah, David Bowie did the theme set.
Silent Rage.
Silent Rage with Chuck Norris. That's the one where science creative. Now Chuck Norris must destroy him. That's awesome.
Yep. Sword and the Sorcerer was another good movie. We also had Next of Kin You know,
There you go.
what we else got here? Diner,
Diner's a good movie.
Conan the Barbarian.
That's the top tenor.
I think that's what was. I was saying Commando versus Rambo, but I think it was Rambo versus Conan the Barbarian. That's what
Maybe
it was. It might have been
maybe.
that. Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid.
Steve Martin, tremendous. Rachel Ward. Oh, great movie.
Yeah, of course, Rocky 3. We had Poltergeist. I said Polter. We talked about Poltergeist. Firefox. Clint Eastwood.
That's Clint Eastwood, where they go to steal a jet plane. I think it was.
Helicopter. I think, or is it a helicopter or a plane?
Or Black Hawk, something like that. Whatever.
Yeah. Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, I know, is very divisive among people.
You had Tron. You had The Thing. What else do we have?
That
here?
lineup that you just mentioned, about 20 films, that's better than the top 20 films of this year.
Force Vengeance, another Chuck Norris movie.
Yes, baby.
Zapped with Scott Bale.
I'm not going to say that's good, but it was a thing back then.
Night Shift.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if we get Fast Times, it was also this year too. Part 3 of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, who cares?
It
was there, but who cares? In 3D, I believe.
Amityville 2. Oh, man. Going through.
92 was just a banger year. Let's just say it.
First Blood was October, came when it released, but you notice it was like a Christmas movie because there's a Christmas tree in the shop, in the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie. You can watch it. Christmas.
Final thoughts, sir. Give it to me.
Final thoughts, man. If you've never seen this movie, and you've especially for the younger generation, like the ones that are like in our 20s, if you've never watched any of these movies, including either what was it called? As mentioned before, Rocky 3 or Rocky 1 and all stuff. Stallone has a very good catalog to go through, as it's been expressed by Comic Corner 2.0 multiple times. We were talked about before, like we had Arnold, we had Chuck Norris,
the Holy Trinity, the 80s.
Yeah, and then you had and Stallone.
American, for those that want to be pedantic.
And then we cannot forget the real American, Michael Dudikoff.
Stop.
He's the American Ninja, bro.
Stop.
3 movies. It's awesome.
Stop.
Ninja.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Rambo, as we like to say, not just First Blood. Or actually First Blood, not just Rambo. Whatever. They changed the names, kind of like they did with Star Wars and a bunch of other films. This film, guys, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you haven't seen it in a long time and you watch it maybe with a different lens, you'll catch some stuff on it. It's a beautiful film. Holds up well. It's one of the things that I feel like where it's not trying to say anything cute or light. It just, you recognize there's different perspectives here, and that's some of the strengths that the different actors have in here. We mentioned Troutman, we mentioned Dennehy, of course, Rambo himself, the townspeople and all that. There's a lot of how people are in real life in this film that no matter what year you're born in and all that.
I also want to point out
today.
This is Orion Pictures. It's been a while since I watched a movie. It says Orion Pictures. I don't think they're even doing anything
anymore. No,
because MGM owns them.
Rambo beat Terminator.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know what he would do to Terminator? He would take that bow with the exploding thing and shoot it into his nuclear energy source of his heart. And the game be over, and he'd be sitting there like a statue with birds pooping on him. So, yeah, Rambo would beat him.
How about we take all Stallone's different characters versus all of Arnold's characters and put them in a fight, battle royal, and see, and then then you put all the Chuck Norrises in there.
Man, I would love to do something like that. What if?
Who out of all of them? Like obviously, Chuck Norris versus Chuck Norris. What's the best Chuck Norris character that would win? Braddock, or any of the Silent Rage characters, like Lone Wolf McQuade versus Braddock. Who'd win?
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Yeah,
and he drinks a beer and he becomes immortal.
Exactly. Yeah, and then
he to the ground in his truck.
He'd drive his truck out of the dirt.
Lone Wolf McQuade, man, that came out this year too, I think.
Yeah.
Man, this 82 I forgot how good 82 was. I thought 83 was good, but 82 is tremendous. Wow.
Yes.
I do want to make an announcement though, as we're closing up for this tonight. depending on what kind of feedback we get or what mood we're in, we decide on what movie we're going to be doing. But we've already decided, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about a movie. Then later on,
Oh,
depending on how it goes. So Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, live, RDV and I will be covering a movie
hold
called
on.
Link from
I was gonna say,
1986.
let me pull it up first.
It's Elizabeth Shue's second movie, her first one being the girlfriend in the Karate Kid, and this would be before she did Adventures in Babysitting. Zod, aka Terrence Stamp, who recently passed this year, he plays a professor in it. And if you all know anything about my love for the movie Shockma from the late 80s, early 90s, that movie is just one of the best when animals attack, period. It's better than all the Jurassic Parks and all that. But this one needs some love, and it's from the 80s. So
when you
and I are going to be doing it.
Freaking chimpanzee doing a military crawl.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. he's just got one front arm for the other, just pulling himself.
This is somewhat of a difficult film to find streaming unless you choose to pay for it. It is available. However, if you go to the Internet Archive, it is there, and it's a decent copy of it for free that you can look at. That's online, and people may have other means by going sailing to find it as well. But I am really looking forward to this. I'm a sucker for when animals attack, especially going to all the drive-in animal attack movies from the 70s.
1986. It's a British film.
Yeah.
I just found it by mishap, just like, and there's like, I was like, dude, like, that's what it was. We had just got done doing Delta Force, which I do not recommend watching. Watch our review, but if you want to watch that movie, start at 1 hour and 60 minutes into the film, and you'll be satisfied because the whole freaking front end of it was just not needed. But I was going through a list of Wikipedia has all the canon films up, and I was going through like, what is Link? And I'm like, it's Elizabeth Shue, and I'm like, it's Elizabeth Shue naked. Why haven't I seen this? So,
like you say in some sports, if you know, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, not much. Fun movie, and we'll definitely have to bring back. I think we'll bring back Thunderdome again, but this time it won't be just like of 1981. I think it'll be like, like I said, we'll have to do like Thunderdome, but we're gonna do a bracket fight with Chuck Norris movies.
Yeah, I told Convict Corner Mike, we were talking about films, and I had mentioned one. I was convinced by people to watch the Terrifier movies because I watched the first one and kind of didn't care for it, but it had an aesthetic to it that I liked. The second one, they really spent a long time like.
Is that Chris Jericho?
No, that's 3 actually.
3, okay, 3, okay.
Jericho's in 3, and he doesn't do bad in it for the cameo. But in Terrifier 2, they spent a lot of time building up an actual backstory. So it's one of the rare franchises I can say they actually improved it with the second film because they understood what worked on the first one and didn't try to do something different, like say Megan 2.0, where they tried making her an action hero instead of how it worked in the first one. And so this woman, I was telling Mike, was she's attractive. She's got a great body, but she's what we like to talk here on the Extreme Movie Show. She's a strong female lead, and she has a great relationship. And it's really all about that and family with what they have to deal with, and it leads into the third film or whatever.
So is she the final girl?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. She kind of embodies that a little bit too, but just the way it develops.
My question: does the final girl make it to the second movie, or is she just?
Oh no, absolutely. There's a continuation going into the third.
That's awesome. I like.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Another movie which I think came out in '82, might have been '81, if you remember Heavy Metal. Remember the sequence with the Valkyrie woman on her dragon?
Yeah.
For some reason, to me, they remind each other. I'm reminded of both of these characters from Terrifier 2. I'm not saying that one was inspired by the other, but there's just something reminiscent about it because it just kind of turns more fantastic as the movie goes on.
Put on real quick. He said the ending was nasty. The credit. I kind of want to watch that scene, but I'm also like, I don't. He said it's nasty. I shouldn't want to watch that.
I can handle that stuff. I know you're a little.
You know the gore I like. The gore I like is Evil Dead 2.
The goofy gore.
Yeah, the goofy gore, like where it's not, because you can know it's cornstarch. I don't need to see someone's eyeball being ripped out or all that stuff or just peeled. I hated the Saw movies because I said I was just basically there was no story. It's a guy just torturing people because What, they refused to help him because his
No,
Medicare?
because he wanted to prove to people in his life that you have a choice and you have to suffer the consequences of your choices. He's a very moralistic character, sir.
Yeah, but you see, he's a crazy guy playing God. Yeah,
No.
but if you watch the movies in reverse, he's actually a good guy gifting people organs.
I can't wait to talk about organ harvesting on the sidebar of some movies like Turistas and all that later on. But we'll get to that eventually.
We're going to be doing wrong. We're going to be doing Wrong Turn Tuesdays. And I can tell you, the first one's good, and they just get worse as it goes on.
Yeah. Link Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. We'll be really excited to go over that one. Hopefully, it doesn't suck. It's going to be a first watch for both of us, and that's extremely rare. So I'm looking forward to it. Good night now.
All right, later, guys.